asked Brad Stevens on this very radio station during last year's Jimmy Fund telethon and asked a question about the rumors that were swirling around Jaylen Brown.
A month later than the report from Shams. July 25th, you had Shams saying that there was trade offered. The Celtics offered Jaylen Brown and others for Durant. And then Brad Stevens a month later doesn't say they didn't do it, did he?
No, he didn't. No, you're right. He didn't say that. He said they're open to discussing these kinds of things with the player that might be involved.
That seems like a confirmation of the trade.
Right.
Well, it's all about transparency. That's what he's trying to get across. And he said he wasn't going to have any, real conversations with the media about conversations that have happened behind closed doors. Of course, that's what he's going to say.
July 25th, Jaylen Brown tweets, SMH, as the reports are coming out. A lot of good communication going on.
And it was Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and draft picks. And remember, Brooklyn was like, we want Marcus Smart. So I think the question that I've asked the room, and I don't know if I've gotten a straight answer yet, do you believe the Celtics were trying to trade Brown to get Kevin Durant?
I believe they were talking about it, yes.
Okay.
I do.
So
why wouldn't they be again right now?
Right.
Is what you're saying.
And if they are, why are you mad at me when the Celtics clearly have interest?
Nobody's mad at you.
No, I'm not.
I just don't. I don't think it's a good move for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown is a young player and getting better. He and Jason Tatum have figured it out together. There's a lot of risk involved in bringing Kevin Durant into that locker room. That's all.
So what happens if they don't win this year?
Then they'll go back and they'll be a year older and have a year's more experience and win it next year. I mean, I don't know. I think I get what you want a championship this year or bust. And so
isn't that the whole thing about? Isn't that why we root for teams?
Yes, we root for teams to win a championship. We also want to see teams build a competitive team for a considerable amount of time. You're foregoing that, in my opinion, with a Kevin Durant who you can't count on year to year.
Hasn't this team been competitive for like the last 5 or 6 years?
Has he won a championship without Steph Curry?
No, I'm talking about
Kevin
the Celtics.
Durant, has he?
I'm talking about the Celtics. Have the Celtics not been competitive?
Yeah, and they've gotten better and better
for the past
each year.
5 or 6 years. So just because
why do you want to blow it up now?
Just because you're competitive doesn't mean you're going to win a championship.
The last 3 years, have they improved each
Yes.
season? Okay, so why do you want to blow it up when we're right there?
Because
we are right there.
I believe Tatum and Durant win you a championship.
I know you do, and that's where we differ,
Okay.
which is okay.
Here's Jim from Randolph. Hey, Jim.
Hey, how you doing today?
What's up, Jim?
Nothing much. Just want to talk about why Wiggy would want to blow this team up like you guys were saying.
Yeah.
Why can't he just agree with you guys? You know what I mean? Why bring someone toxic into the locker room? You know what I mean? And it just doesn't make sense. Look at the core we have. We went out, we got a bench. You know, let's go with that and see what happens after the season. If you want to move them then. But we don't need a Kevin Durant in the locker room.
So why wait till after the season when the team's good enough now that if you were just to replace Durant with Brown, you'd still have a legitimate and you still have a good basketball team. You probably have a better basketball team.
But look at the core we have right now. Why can't we just go with this core?
What? You could go with the core. Ain't nobody saying you can't. But if you have an option out there to make your team better, why wouldn't you do it?
Because I think we're good right now. I think we built ourselves a bench that hopefully that'll help the fatigueness down the stretch, just to see what happens.
All right. Well, we'll circle back in June. How's that? Let's put this conversation on the shelf until June.
This is Matt from Rhode Island. Hello, Matt.
Hey, good morning, guys. Courtney, you nailed that lead. I'm right there, but also I do see Wiggy's point. It is if you bring Durant in, it is win or bust. But here's the thing about Durant that everyone knows. You know, down 3-1 in Oklahoma City to Golden State. They lose. He goes out to Golden State. My point being, not only is he physically not at his best right now, but, you're renting him for the rest of the season. He's worth $300 million. If this thing doesn't go well, he's gone.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown's the dude. Jaylen Brown just said last week when they asked him about making the All-Star team that, it's nice, but it's not my biggest concern. We're going to win this year. We're going to win it with the guys that we have right now. Thanks.
I just think you're giving up a young player with a ton of potential for a guy who is aging. And I'm generally not, when it comes to bullying, I don't like bullying senior citizens because I am one. But the guy is...
Who's a better player right now?
You're the Kevin Durant of WEEI.
It is. You can argue it, but I think Kevin Durant is the better player right now. I mean, maybe not in the playoffs last year.
But we're not talking about that.
I mean, if you go,
was he there for the playoffs or did he miss the playoffs? I don't remember.
You look at their
he
stats.
quit.
He's not leaps and bounds better than Jaylen this season. I also think it's so crazy to me. We stand here with them at the top of the league right now. I can't think of any other place where their team is exceptional, doing really well, and everyone's like, let's trade away one of our best players.
That's because our standards are about more than just getting to the playoffs. Our standards are about winning a championship. And we do the same thing in football, and we do the same thing in other sports. It's the same thing we dealt with last year with the same BS. Oh, let's keep around Xander because he's a good chemistry locker room guy. No, if you got a chance to make your team better, or if you know a guy's not going to come back, then you trade away that asset. No matter how much you love the guy, no matter how great the guy is in the community, no matter how kumbaya it might be in that locker room.
But he's good on the court as well.
I know that, but Durant is better.
This is Brian from Lynn. Hey, Brian.
Hey, how are you?
What's up?
My take on this is Andrew Wiggins has had the best of Tatum for the last 2 years, and then when Tatum gets locked up, the challenge is that you got to go to your next best player, which is Brown. He's going to stay consistent at 27 to 30 points. Durant will be able to get you 40 points in the W. He's a better player. He's a better scorer, and Tatum hasn't proven himself in the finals at all.
Preach, Brian. Preach.
Okay.
And that's the truth about it. Brown is a good player, but Durant is an exceptional player. That's the difference. So when Tatum is struggling a little bit, you now are going to a player that is exceptional.
Has Kevin Durant showed you in Brooklyn that he is an exceptional player?
Right. I would say, Wiki, you're misusing the words. I would say Durant was an exceptional player. I don't know if he still is. He needs to be healthy, like everybody does, and he needs to be in the exact right situation.
Is he going to take a back seat to Jason Tatum, or is it going to be the other way around?
No, I mean, he doesn't take a back seat to anybody.
It would have to be the other way around. And does Jason buy into that?
Does Jaylen Brown take a back seat? You tell me that.
Yeah, he does.
No, you tell me he doesn't.
And you tell me that they figured it out.
I say he does, but I think at that level, when you're talking about those two players with Tatum.
And to be clear, I've said MVP, Jason Tatum's unbelievable, but Jaylen Brown, I think, doesn't get the respect he deserves.
Yeah, but I know that. And when that's not the conversation here, but I think at that level, the conversation is not whether or not he gets the respect that he deserves.
You were saying that he doesn't take a that I said he didn't take a backseat to Jason.
Right, but I think at the level
So I just said that was false.
Let me, a texter has put this in terms that you will be able to relate to.
Because I can't relate to nothing anybody's saying when it comes to this.
Would you rather have 1 year of amazing chicken parm or 5 years of really, really good chicken parm?
Well, if you can guarantee me 5 years of really, really good chicken parm, but you can't do that. If you can guarantee me, if you're telling me I get 5 years of, okay, some nights it's good, some nights it's not that great, versus 1 year of it's completely amazing all the time.
All right.
Give me the championship chicken parm.
We will continue to discuss what has, I guess, become more of a national story thanks to Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, thanks to Brad.
Thanks to Wiggy, honestly.
Wiggy started it yesterday, and then Stephen A. Smith co-signed it because probably somebody said, hey, in Boston on the radio, they're mentioning that Durant should be traded for Jaylen Brown. So that's where Stephen A. Smith got that from.